Evan, thank you for doing this. Is this a good day for you so far, aside from having to talk to media people?
Oh yeah, no. Today's been a good day. I've been having a busy week. I just got back from Los Angeles like 4 o'clock this morning. Doing my first boxing press conference and stuff like that. So it's been good. Having this experience.
Right. Well, we were connected to talk about legacy in the shadow of greatness. How long were you filmed for the documentary for?
It was about 3 years. They had started when I was around 21, and that was like before I had my first fight. And so they captured my first fight. As you can see, and the last fight they were able to capture was my eighth one. I'm currently 9-0, so for the most part they caught you know more than 90% of my whole career. So it's a great journey to be a part of.
It's fantastic to see a whole career like that documented so far. But did you have any hesitation at the beginning of, oh, I don't want to be a reality boxer? Because, we've seen successes and we've seen failures when it comes to becoming an athlete that is also kind of famous for different reasons. So hesitation?
Well, when it first was pitched to me, it was kind of like from my brother. So my brother plays in NFL, so when he had brought it to me, of course, I kind of jumped at it because it's my brother. I do anything to help my brother. I love my brother, and I know he wouldn't steer me into any direction that wouldn't be really positive for his good nor mine. So I knew it would be a bit different, or it was a bit of a foreign territory to have cameras following around. But I knew always, if as long as I do the right things, I shouldn't be perceived in the wrong way or anything like that. So it was just kind of like that. I didn't want it to be any like drama
Right.
or anything like that. And they had told me, like, no, this is like no Kim Kardashian thing. This is like, an actual sports thing. And they was telling me how the credentials of John Hawkins, and really all they had to say was 30 for 30, and they had me. That was like the first credential they said. And he said, "Oh yeah, the director did 30 for 30," and I said, "Oh yeah, I know he's good."
Yeah, 30 for 30 is kind of the gold standard when it comes to sports documentaries. Any episodes that you remember that you went, that is great? Like, for example, for me, the Ric Flair episode was perfect.
Yeah, there was a couple episodes, but um, I know they had did a really, really good job with that episode with my dad, and it's just hits a little bit more at home when it's stories that you heard actually coming from your dad, and but you know what I mean, but you actually see it now, you know what I mean. It's like actually like visual representation to like the stories that he's been telling you, and it was really neat seeing that, and really to see it all come together. So that's when I knew I was like, yeah, this is going to be something legit.
I grew up a fan of your father. I think I had the Sega Genesis game, Real Deal Boxing, where you could build your own boxer, which was exciting. Did you grow up a gamer?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm still gaming to this day. As a matter of fact, look, you see, I did the move. It's right here, right next to me, the PS5 controller. You know, so I've always been on the game. I grew up on the game, and I just feel like that's just kind of part of today's generation and youth. Sorry you have to miss out on it.
I hear it go both ways because I interview a lot of MMA fighters, wrestlers, boxers, and some of them are so anti-gaming where they think it makes them a nerd, it distracts them. And then I've heard other people say, no, it actually helps my reflexes. In your case,
I,
fast hands, does it actually help your reflexes?
I really couldn't say, it necessarily helps my reflexes, but I feel like, life is all about balance, you know what I mean? And, if anybody knows, I bring my gaming system wherever I go. So like, there's been times where I've literally been on live playing games with the fans like the day of my fight, and then, going to fight, and then, I'll see some of the comments go, "Oh yeah, I was playing Call of Duty Warzone with him earlier before he had fight."
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but I feel like but with some games, I feel like it kind of does, alter your thinking a little bit, because as I play like fighting games, like UFC and stuff like that,
Yeah.
I found myself working different strategies and things, just seeing if it'll work in the game and stuff like that. So I feel like it can really go both ways, I guess.
When I was a kid, there was only like a handful of athletes who could do more than one sport. Like we always talked about Bo Jackson and Deion Sanders and Michael Jordan's kind of bad attempt into baseball. I think he was better than people give him credit for. But
Yeah.
nowadays, we see boxers who go into MMA, NFL players who go into MMA people go into wrestling, wrestlers who go into MMA. It's kind of like people are able to go, this is my dream to do this. Do you have your eye on MMA or wrestling, or is it boxing is everything?
Boxing is just everything for me right now. I had I had a chance to do all those sports coming up. I wrestled in eighth grade. Wrestling just wasn't for me. I just couldn't get into the whole leotard thing. Didn't like the whole uniforms and stuff like
I
that.
love that answer because, yeah, that is maybe the worst uniform of any sport, amateur wrestling. Is there anything worse? That
Besides
like the
speedos, well, but I feel like that's just comes with swim community. So you just like, what I mean? Everybody's in speedos. So, but I feel like it's got to be between a leotard and those speedos. It's got to be either one of the two of them.
totally. I would say the old school tennis clothing, like the all whites short shorts, that
Oh
was
yeah,
kind of bad, but now you don't have to wear that anymore.
you definitely don't have to wear it. And if you have the right legs, you probably could pull it off. But there's no pulling off the leotard. You just really just have to be a real physical specimen to pull off that leotard.
For sure. What was your weight class as an amateur wrestler?
Shoot, I don't really remember, but I can promise you it was nothing over $150. It was probably like, yeah, probably like 140 something. Yeah, but I remember there was this one kid on my wrestling team. He won county a couple years in a row, and it's my first year wrestling, and it really kind of really just taught me, like, there's definitely levels to this sports. Like, like I know, like Jordan Burroughs, I know he's had like vast experience in what he's been doing. There was this guy named Aaron, and I wanted to, there's A team and there's B team. Everybody wanted to be A team.
Right.
And that's the first time I really had, like, legitimately like been beat, like, like there was nothing I could do about it. He just knew more than me. And I went up a weight division just so I could be able to A team and I should beat the next person up. And he just didn't have enough experience. He was new like me, but I was just stronger than him. So like it was more so even. So, that's when I knew wrestling was different. I was like, it's not just like wrestling your brothers and sisters. It's really like half noses. You know what I mean? It's really like, who knows the most, pretty much. So
Well,
really,
yeah. And going back to
Mhm.
Legacy in the Shadow of Greatness here, you're not the only star of the film, but did you know Vashti or any of the other people involved before you started filming?
Uh, I think I heard of Zaire Wade. I'm sure I had heard of Zaire Wade, and I had seen him, just around, not like in person, but like just like over social media and stuff like that when he was younger. But then, that's just comes with the publicity and just being with your father,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I didn't learn about Vashti Cunningham until the documentary. But to be honest, I'm glad to be part of this documentary, and I'm glad I haven't met any of them personally, but I'm glad to learn about them because they all seem to be pretty talented, and just learn about their stories. I feel like they all have something special within them, to get themselves. So they made honest and true fans out of myself.
And another innovation of being a professional athlete these days is you have to have endorsements, you have to have products that you have a venture in. Is there anything that you can plug at the moment, or is it all I'll tell you when the time is right kind of stuff?
Oh no, I have a couple partners and endorsements and stuff, and people who help me out. I can give a shout out to first off my glove company, Hayabusa. There's not too many gloves I can wear in the pro game, that really like keep my hands, protected and let me like throw pretty much whatever I want and haphazardly, and about the back of my hand, but oh yeah, I could hurt my hand. You know, Hy- You know,
Right.
Hayabusa, you know, they really been helping me out, and you know, they give me all my gear, and you know, the training gloves are good, and the pro gloves are the ones that are for me, you know. And my other sponsor, Georgia Hemp Company, it's a CBD company, essentially. So, you know, a thing about today, hey, that's the best thing about, you know, just growing up in today, you know, each generation gets better. So like, you know, we have so many great athletes like Michael Jordan, my dad, you know, Randall Cunningham, you know, Dwayne Wade. But like, you know, the truth is, you know, they say each generation gets better. So like, you know, the athletes of the next generation, you know, not talk about my generation, are going to be better than this generation because technology is going to be better, you know. And with things like CBD and stuff like that, it's just a blessing to have them on my team because it's about staying ahead of the curve and not letting your body break down. Because sometimes when your body breaks down, it's too late. You know, it's just like having in your car. You know, your body's like a car. You know, if you're not changing the oil until your car breaks down,
Right.
you're too late. You know what I mean? It's gonna cost you way more to fix it than really what it was. Just keeping up with it. So that's what I can say about the CBD. The CBD is it's not about being high, it's about
Right.
recovering and healing. So you know, CBD takes out those chemicals and those chemical properties that, you know, that make it psychoactive. So it just makes it literally just about taking care of your body and just keep the machine well oiled.
Well
So
said.
well said. And you know, those are my sponsors.
The last thing I want to know before I let you go is when you have control of the stereo at the gym, what are you listening to musically? Are you a high beats per minute guy, or are you a if it sounds good, I don't care?
It's funny because around my gym, most of the people are just like, you know, if it sounds good, I don't care. You know what I mean? So like when I'm in the gym with other people and stuff like that, and the other fighters, I'll let them put on their music because I'm real easy to go with. You know what I mean? I listen to all types of music, but if it's really this is like up to me, or it's like really like a personal session, and
Mhm.
I'm like, you know, trying to work on stuff like that, it will get kind of weird in there on that stereo because, you know what I mean? I can go from some hip hop, or if I'm really, really trying to work on something and I'm trying to be like creative and I'm trying to just get my mind going, it'll most likely be like some electronic dance hall music. You know what I mean? Some, you know, some good rhythm. You know, I feel like, you know, that really kind of like opens up the door for my creativeness off of those weird beats. You know, I can find some little weird divots in it. So it's all about the creativity.
Yeah. Well, congratulations on this great feature documentary series, because let's face it, you're giving the world your truth, your story in your words. So that's fantastic to see. Congratulations on still being undefeated. Looking forward to that next fight. Great endorsements. And before long, I think that they're going to be going, oh, so Evander's the father? What? Of that famous boxer? I think that's going to be in a couple of years, man.
Hey, hopefully, you know, one fight at a time, one day at a time.
Paltrocast.